Rising with each beat of the music is bringing.
This is the OMFL.
You can't touch this.
And you're in the mix with Kinda Real Name. Here's another OMFL production.
All right, we're going to cut that a little short. Again, if you've watched all these videos, I'm pretty sure you don't want to watch that again. If you're just popping in, I encourage you to go back and at least watch the general FPR one. There, you're going to hear me talk a lot about the philosophy and kind of why we do what we do. I'm not going to cover all that on all of these videos. I've already done all of the offense and defensive one, and now we're going to get to the last one. If you don't know who I am, I'm the commissioner and founder of the OMFL and the Grown Folks online community. Nate, appreciate you checking us out if you're new here or just brushing up on your FPR. If you're a little lost and turned around, go to our website, grownfolksoc.com, click on forums, then you'll see fair play rules and regulations. There we go, easy for me to say. Under the online Madden Football League, the OMFL and the Deuce are the same league, just it's our second league called the Deuce. And there you'll see all of these different rules. So your new member packet, the quiz that you need to answer, and then all the different sections of rules that you can watch. And we're making these videos for each one of these sections. And now we're at our fair play rules and regulations around trades, off-season players, all that fun stuff that has to be done. Let's just go through this real quick. Teams and owners, they come and go. We don't have a ton of movement here in the OMFL, but this isn't forevership, right? This is just ownership for a moment. And so because of that, our philosophy is to ensure the integrity of the team, the league, and the next owner is protected. If you're looking for the Deuce forums for trades or the OMFL forums, they're all here. We also have a calculator. This needs to be updated, but by the time you do this will be updated for you. We have a calculator here. So no longer do we have committees where guys are like, well, why'd you deny my trade? And it brought in a lot of human error and how people were feeling that day and if they liked the owner or didn't like the owner. We just want to remove all that stuff, make it a little bit more black and white. Now, there's some trade-off there. The calculator is never going to be perfect, but we are constantly working on it. There are more hours than you can even begin to imagine. I would say there's probably 100 to 200 hours put into that calculator. And because of that, it's a really good calculator. But we use a calculator that gives you values of players and picks, and we want to make sure those values are within a certain percentage, and that trade will then be approved. You will post that calculator, a photo of that calculator, to our website, the forum, and the trade committee will look it over and make sure everything was entered correctly, make sure it is accepted, and then they'll close the thread and say it's accepted. Both owners must say they accept the trade for us to know that that trade has been accepted and can be processed. We will process it with accepted or declined and close the thread. That's when you know that it can be processed in-game. Here's some trade restrictions. An owner must be in the league for at least 4 advances before we allow a trade to happen. You're brand new. We want to make sure that you know what you're doing and that you're going to last here. Each season has a trade limit of 2 times. You can make 2 trades in the game of Madden. When you load up a trade to make a manual trade, you will see that each side has 3 items. You can put in 3 items from each side. That's what we go by. That is consistent of a trade. Any 3 items, 1 item, up to 3 from each team consist of a trade. You're allowed 2 trades per off season. You're allowed to earn more trades with our incentive plan. So bronze allows 1 more trade. I think silver, 2 more trades. Gold, 3 more trades. So if you're a guy that likes a lot of movement, likes to trade for picks, likes to do those things, you're allowed to make a trade. Here are some things, though, that consist of a trade. We want to allow you to move the bottom of your roster, the bottom of your picks, pretty freely without being super restricted. I really care about the integrity of the big players on your team. So in Madden 20, if a player is rated 70 or above and a pick is 3rd or above, those things must be entered into the calculator. You have to use a calculator that counts as an official trade here. 69 and below, 4th round and below, does not count as a trade, and you are free to do as many of those as you would like. It still must be posted. It still must be agreed upon. And there we just need the link to that player and just general information like who are they, what position, what's their age. Just want to look for anything fishy. That's all. But those are going to be allowed to be freely happening without any restrictions, without anything needed to be earned, and without that counting towards your number of trades. Here's where we allow a little adjustment, and that's with fourth-round picks. If you need to throw in a fourth-round pick to a trade calculator to make a trade be approved, we will allow you to do that. That's the one flexibility that we allow you to add, that fourth-round picks may be added and help you fill in some percentage gap to make a trade happen. We've already talked about all this other stuff. Trade limits reset each offseason. A team may not have more than 12 total draft picks in a single draft. And a team can have no more than 5 picks in the first 3 rounds with a max of 2 first-rounders. We just had to get away from guys getting 3 and 4 first-rounders and really creating super teams in 1 or 2 off-seasons because of bad trades that ended up coming back and haunting teams. Only 2 future draft picks can be traded, and none of them can be first-round picks. After the draft is over and we've entered the preseason, that is no longer a future pick, and that can be traded. A future pick is before the draft happens for the next season. Rookies cannot be traded in their rookie year. Free agents cannot be traded the same year that they were acquired. Philosophy is that Madden's implementation of free agency is first come, first serve. Just log in and find who you get. FPR is allowed to make that a competitive market. So when you're in season, so during the season, and you want to pick up a guy that's in free agency, you must submit a bid. If that player is 69 or under, just like the trade rules, you can freely pick them up. First come, first serve. Get online. You find a player 69 or below. You want to put him on your practice squad. You think he's got some possibility. Excuse my kid who's screaming in the background. He's a crazy teenager playing with his dog. But you can pick those players up freely unless we find you doing something shady. If you do something shady, you're going to get busted. We watch. Everybody watches, okay? Just don't do anything shady. If they're 70 or above, you have to submit a waiver form. You see the links to the forms right here. Just tells us how much you're bidding on the player, who's the player. You must spell it right or we ignore it. Those things are just super, super important. There's a max bid of $10 million. If multiple players put $10 million bids, it goes to the waiver order, which is updated every 4 weeks. And it goes by signing to the roster over practice squad, highest contract value, and then highest waiver order if all of those things are tied. Your bid must be accepted and it must be posted as accepted for you to be able to win that player and go sign that player. Again, any player 69 or lower can be gladly taken. Off season is here. Here's how we do the off season. So we've been through re-signs. We're in the off season, and now it's the 3 stages of off season free agency. Contract length. You must not offer a contract greater than 4 years. This is for your re-signs in season and for your off season. Any contract in the OMFL has to be 4 years or less. The only exception to this is platinum ownership. If you give $10 or more to a donation here, you're a platinum owner. Comes with some XP bonuses, some contract bonuses, and we give you 1 5-year contract that can be signed per Madden, not per season, but for the entire Madden. If you use it up in season 1, you're done. You can't have any more 5-year deals. Just because everybody would sign 5-year deals or 6-year deals or 7-year deals, and there'd never be any free agencies, and no one would ever have to worry about their cap. We don't want to have that happen. So 4 years or less. Once bonuses, they have to be 25% of the salary. So if you're offering $1 million, 250 of that needs to be in bonus. 25% has to be bonus. We're trying to keep guys from going all salary, no bonus, and having a player that they can freely cut as often as they want to do, and that, trust me, does happen. Off-season bonuses or off-season contracts and free agency, you have to bid at least, there's the point system in Madden, at least 3 points every time you up a bid. So if he's at 90 and you were at 86, your next bid has to be 93. The only time that goes away is when we get to max bids. I think the max is like 160, 180, whatever the max points are on a player. When you get to that point, everyone has to go max, and we let the game and the player decide who that player signs with. You cannot offer one-year deals until you're in round 3 of free agency. We want to let everybody who wants to sign multiple-year deals sign first, and then if anybody's left in round 3, those guys can have one-year contracts. Cannot offer players that you deliberately cut from your team until round 3 as well. I can't have a really fat contract on my starting quarterback, cut him and re-signs because I don't want to pay him his contract and his bonus is low, and then go in week 1 of free agency and sign him to a super low contract because other people didn't realize he was in there or other people didn't want him, and now you save some money. That's not allowed if you cut a player. Now, if his contract comes up and you just don't re-sign him, you can go get him in free agency. But if you cut a player, he had a contract, you cut him, then you're not allowed to go and to get that player until the 3rd round of free agency. And then players cut from week 15 on cannot be signed to a team until free agency. We're just trying to avoid playoff teams from picking up a bunch of really good players that were cut to save salary cap. Salary cap penalties cannot exceed $17 million in a single year. And if it puts you over the $17 million, it will require a 4-game suspension of a player of my choosing. And you will not be allowed to do any signings or trades or anything until you get below that $17 million. If a team is over $17 million because of a previous owner, we will get that under $17 million for you and reset that so you don't have to work that. And then any trades that are, even trades that are allowed, like under 69 and over, if it puts you over the $17 million, they will be declined. And if it gets by us and we miss it, and you go over 17 million, you'll get suspended. If you're caught doing that on purpose, or if you're caught doing that often, you could get released from the league. Off-season philosophy, we want free agency to matter, and so we try to keep sniping from happening. We expect teams to have a schedule. Our schedule as a league will be loose. It will be not specific because we'll give guys plenty of time, but it will be random and only I will know it. I share it with one other person so that I can be held accountable, but we try to keep those things from being specific so guys can't snipe. We discourage guys from going in last second and putting a big bid in that other guys didn't see and stealing a player. If you're caught doing that often, you can be removed from here. We'll pick up on your trends and you'll have a conversation with me. We expect teams not to go into every offseason with $40 to $80 million in cap. If you're managing your cap so you can cut a bunch of one-year guys and cut a bunch of guys every single season and go into every offseason with millions upon millions of dollars so that you can be the biggest, highest bidder and get anybody that you want, that's strongly discouraged. That doesn't happen in real life. You're going to be asked to stop that, and if you're picked up on that, you could be removed from here. And then the draft will be at a time that accommodates most owners. Can't accommodate all. It will go up for vote. It always has to fit my schedule at the end of the day, though, because I do a big draft show and it's got to fit. And then draft day picks can happen rounds 5 through 7. No review, no posting, no trade approval process. If you are online and a guy wants to trade you, 2/5 for future 5th and 6th, whatever, just do it. It just has to be rounds 5 through 7. Here are the formation subs that you're allowed to do. Halfback can play receiver, but they can only be the 3rd receiver or less. Tight end can play fullback. He must have speed of 80 or less. Receiver can play tight end, but they must have speed 80 or less. Defensive end can play tackle or outside linebacker, not middle linebacker. Defensive tackle can play defensive end. Outside linebacker can play defensive end. Offensive line can play all offensive line, and linebacker can play all linebacker. The only exception is you can't move a defensive end to outside linebacker and then move him to middle linebacker. I don't know why you would do that, but it's just not allowed. DBs can play all DBs, except for cornerback playing safety. If they're going to play safety and they're listed as a cornerback, they have to be 90 speed or lower. Kickers and punters can play all positions, but you must carry a kicker and a punter. You're not allowed to save roster space and just carry one kicker or one punter and play all those positions. You must carry both. And then players that are moving through multiple positions will receive a warning. If you're ever caught moving a player to a new position to get a cheaper contract, say you're franchising them, and the franchise tag on outside linebacker is cheaper than defensive end, and you move your defensive end to outside linebacker, franchising, and then moving back, you're going to get removed. Like, you're just being lame, and you're using the rules to your advantage, and that's just not allowed here. You can edit your player's jersey number and appearance. If you do the jersey number, it must align with the NFL. We gave you a link there. And you can change your player's name. Or you cannot change your player's name without my approval. There is a link where you submit for approval, and it gets approved. I'm just trying to keep people from doing stupid stuff. I don't want to see Barry Sanders in the league. I don't want to see Deion Sanders Jr. I don't want to see those things. Like, stop. Sometimes we allow guys to put their own human name in the game, especially for Madden players, but it needs to get approved. Developments may be purchased through our incentive plan, but it can't go above star. And so you can get to star, but you can't go above star. Here are the traits that you can never earn, and that's big hitter, high motor, and play the ball trait. You either have those or you don't. If you have big hitter, and we'll get that to the bottom. We're going to skip ahead, but if you have big hitter and you have hitting, it's right here. If you have hitting 85, hit power 85 or below, that big hitter is going to be removed because it's just not realistic. I can explain why if I need to. Just hit me up. But basically, we don't want to see 69 overall, 50 hit power safeties hit sticking people. It's just stupid. The following stats can never be changed through earned XP. They can be changed with roles in the game, but not through earned XP. Speed, jump, kick power. Mainly because you never see players improve in those attributes when they enter the league. You're as fast as you're going to be. You can jump as high as you're going to jump. You can kick as long as you're going to kick. You don't get better at those things. These things can be maintained but never go above. So let's say I have a quarterback who's got 90 throwing power and he falls to 88 the next season. I can add XP back to his throwing power to get him back to 90. I just can't go above 90, and I can never go above where he was. If he was 89 and he falls to 87, I can get him back to 89. I can't get him to 90. Same for acceleration, agility, those other ones. You can only spend 6 XP that you've earned through awards, Pro Bowl, and 9 assigned XP through the league. You can only put 6 of them per player and only 3 per attribute. This is just to keep guys from saving up 15 XP and dumping it all on, throwing accuracy. Like, we're just trying to keep guys from just dumping XP and really making a player really great in one season. You should be doing long-term builds. We explained the hit stick. We also remove high motor and add run after catch to all tight end, running back, receiver, and fullback. Nothing else is going to be touched in Madden 20. You either have things or you don't. All players must be at 53 and hit the Madden minimums, which is 3 halfbacks, 4 receivers, 4 cornerbacks, 4 safeties, combination of free safety, strong safety, 8 offensive linemen, any combination, 1 fullback, and then 2 tight ends. And we can also add at least 1 kicker, 1 punter. Like, you can never have 1 kicker do both or 1 punter do both. And then all players' confidence will be reset going into week 1 and going into bye weeks. If you post, you have to post that you want your reset for your bye week. I'm not going to just do it. And then going into free agency week 1. And then again, as with offense, all owners must create a brand new custom coach when entering the league, cannot use a coach. So that's our player in general off-season FPR. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. That's going to be all of our videos. We appreciate you watching. Have a great week. God bless you. Peace.